Hello and welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day.
The governor-elect with more than 13,000 votes, Everett Harkins, made a publication where he expressed his dissatisfaction with the current cabinet in charge of the governorship of the department, using the word traitors in his argument. The following is the extension of this news.
Today, social networks on the island were moved by the publication of the governor-elect Everett Harkins' chagrin, where he expressed his dissatisfaction with the current administration, expressing in textual words the following. I quote, "The new beginning was hacked by a cabinet of traitors and by double-faced conciliars. Far from their bad practices, they talk about honesty and they are blatantly stealing everything." The governor-elect's statements are being related to the members of the cabinet who were appointed by the maximum authorities of the island before his measure of house arrest, and who currently continues to be heads of different portfolios. Tourism led by Sebastian Ospina, and infrastructure led by Bartolome Taylor, Lisa Hayes, who was the first Secretary of Finance and now heads the government portfolio, Julian Davis, head of the Secretary of Health, and lastly Patricia Moreno, who was the private secretary and now heads the Secretary of Social Development. At the closing of this broadcast, Governor-elect Everett Harkins Green, who won the election with a total of 13,996 votes for the 2020-2021 term, told his journalistic host that he will not make any statement regarding this publication.
The National Police, in the development of its activities, achieved the capture and flagrante delicto of 2 men of 18 and 20 years of age, both natives of the island, for the crime of theft.
Thanks to the timely complaint provided by a citizen through the integrated emergency system, who states that 2 men had stolen his motorcycle in the sector of Cove, so the patrols on duty were immediately alerted and supported with the video surveillance cameras, achieved the full identification of these 2 citizens who, upon noticing the police presence, left the motorcycle on the side of the road and fled to the wooded area of the place, being intercepted and subsequently captured by the patrols. The new police surveillance devices in strategic points of the island, carried out by units of the National Model of Community Surveillance by Quadrants, were decisive in the capture of these 2 men. The institution also found a .44 caliber revolver with 04 cartridges. The events took place in the sector known as the Mosquitero at the time when police were patrolling, search and control, and observed a suspicious citizen passing by the place, who, upon noticing the police presence, fled, dropping the gun in a wooded area in the sector. The weapon and those captured were placed at the disposal of the Attorney General's office.
And police operations against drug trafficking continue. This time, the police command achieved the seizure of cocaine and marijuana.
More than 5,000 grams of cocaine and 1,624 grams of marijuana were seized at the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla International Airport, coming from the cities of Bogotá and Barranquilla. According to the communique sent by the National Police, the drugs arrived on the island camouflaged in 2 boxes, one of which was a sound component and the other of a motor pump, which were intended to be sent as parcel to San Andres. On the other hand, the sector known as Mosquitero was the epicenter of the escape of a man who, upon noticing the presence of the police patrol, dropped a revolver-type firearm, which was collected by the police and placed in the hands of the prosecutor office.
And through a communique, the unit of the General Maritime Directorate at the service of the archipelago announced the departure of a ship with more than 100 tons of aid.
The ship ARC Caribe sailed in the last few hours from Cartagena to San Andres with 124 tons of humanitarian aid in order to continue contributing to the welfare of the islands and the rest of the community of the archipelago. This is the 4th voyage of the multipurpose ship attached to the Center for Oceanographic and Hydrographic Research, and complete the transport of 524 tons of aid, including construction material, drinking water, prefabricated houses, vehicles, containers, and rapid reaction units belonging to the Pacific Coast Guard of the Colombian Navy. Also on board are 39 men and women in addition to 7 uniformed members of the Colombian Navy belonging to the Unified Command Post, who will arrive to continue working in the development of the Renacer operation, which is being carried out in coordination with national entities. The communique also highlights that the Maritime Authority will continue supporting the reconstruction of Old Providence with the afloat units ARC Caribe, ARC Malpelo, and ARC Roncador that have been deployed in this region of the country in order to continue serving the reconstruction of the island after the passage of Hurricane Iota.
And one of the main topics during this year's IDB Assembly was the effects of Hurricanes Eta and Iota, as well as the new strategies to be developed by the government to be prepared for events such as these.
Today took place the 61st Virtual Assembly of the Inter-American Development Bank 2021, where the manager for the reconstruction of the archipelago, Susana Correa, was part of the Climate Resilience Forum, where she spoke about the progress in the reconstruction of the islands and the lessons learned after the effects of Hurricanes Eta and Iota.
We were there sharing our experience of our work in Old Providence and Santa Catalina, as well as that of San Andres, explaining the difference of what was the impact in San Andres and what was the impact in Old Providence and Santa Catalina. We were accompanied by Dr. Alexis Solis from Costa Rica and Dr. Sandra Munoz, a co-worker in Old Providence and Santa Catalina, and the president of FINDETER. We explained what are the lessons learned, and the lessons are many. The first one is we are in the Caribbean. We are in a hurricane zone, and we have to be ready to receive them. The second is to accept that the logistics are difficult, that it is an island that is 720 kilometers away from the mainland, but at the same time, it does not have the facilities to send planes or ships with all the aid that is needed. Another lesson learned is we need to work with the communities so that they can be part of the risk and disaster management system, but also that we may have a concrete and direct communication so that they know what the nation and the state entities are doing.
During this event, Sandra Gomez, president of FINDETER, indicated that the entity is in charge of the reconstruction of 887 houses, the construction of 1,200 new houses, the construction of an airport, 2 schools, and 11 sport venues, and the dredging of freshwater reservoir in Old Providence. On the other hand, the IDB manager for Colombia and Peru, Sergio Diaz, delivered a check from the bank for an amount of $47,000 for the recovery of San Andres.
And now we continue with news from the municipality of Old Providence. The National Unit for Risk Management announced progress in the plan for the repair and construction of houses thanks to the collection center.
Regarding the construction of Old Providence, work is progressing in several fronts. On one of them is the collection center that contains material for the repair or improvement of the houses that were left standing after Iota. The coordinator of the housing repair spoke about the importance of this center for the works that is being carried out.
The National Unit for Disaster Risk Management promoted and is executing a bank of materials that is supporting the activity of placing roofs and roofing structures on all of the approximately 877 houses here on the island of Old Providence.
According to the engineer, the storage center is stocked with the necessary materials for the construction of the roofs and its structure.
Materials such as thermoacoustic tiles without wooden elements, battens of different dimensions and lengths, anchoring elements, accessories for the roof tiles.
Some citizens talk about the help they have received at the collection center.
And when I get down there, people in the back from Giwi, they say yes, then come in and they make a local view site for the house and they help with some material. Then give sand, cement, then give some perfill.
On the other hand, today began the construction of the first of 4 model houses in Batam House. This journalistic house will be pending of the development of this news to provide more details on further broadcasts.
And the National Unit for Risk Management gave an assessment on the work of telecommunications in the island.
Starting with the re-establishment of communications by the means of satellite phones days after the hurricane, And going to the installation of internet access points for the community are some of the actions that are among the work that is being carried out by MINTIC and the National Unit for Risk Management. The latter spoke about their operations throughout all these months.
One of our satellite internet points was activated so that the community could connect there and generate this type of communication with their families through social networks. This was done at the beginning of the emergency, and now with our communication network, we have supported the field hospital. They use their radios through our frequency to the San Rafael Hospital in coordination with the Red Cross.
From the telematic tent, they keep in touch with the operational personnel and also monitor the weather on the island.
From here, we monitor the network. Additionally, in this tent, we are monitoring the weather to be able to give information to our colleagues and to be able to validate the weather conditions.
In coordination with MINTIC, they have installed a total of 21 internet access points, 18 of which are for the use of the community.
Communications are the pillar of any operation. Let's say that this is what ensures that the exercises and activities we are developing are effective and meet the objective.
The network is available for personnel who requires this support.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. During this week, the Equestrian Guild, or Horse Racing Association, was in search of the reopening of horse racing on Velodia Road. Horse riding is a part of our cultural tradition of our insular department, and due to the pandemic, the races of horses have not been made. That is why this guild conducted a pilot test looking for the prompt reactivation of this cultural event on Velodia Road. We spoke with an official of the Secretary of Culture, Brynel Archibald.
With the Velodia Road, the famous upper horse race activity is always done. Today we did a plan piloto with the head stand from the governor and the Secretary of Cultura to reactivate this activity. What we beg people for the different activity when we have more in front. Tapaboca and social distancing. So for all people who want to start come, we beg you to bring tapaboca and keep on distance between each other.
We also spoke with Alex Corpus, a member of the Equestrian or Horse Racing Association.
We made 2 meetings with the authorities and then give away some conditions we can race back the race. So today, we try out the conditions to see if we can reactivate the race them. The whole year, the people in the big horse race, you know, this is something cultural, but through the situation, really we had to understand so we couldn't do nothing. But yeah, I believe some circumstances they happen now that we can start run back the race them.
Alex Corpus sent the message to the horse race lovers.
Obey the authorities, because I really feel like they help and they find one solution, and they try to give one solution if we can start a race. So use all what call the mask, keep on the distance, and obey the authorities then down here. We not got no problem.
It should be noted that horse racing loving community is eagerly awaiting to the reactivation of this cultural event in the archipelago. A coach seeks to keep young people away from bad habits through soccer in the archipelago department. With the slogan that football is alive, Coach Jair Navarro schedules friendly soccer matches looking for the young people from the island department to integrate with sports, motivate and keep them away from bad things that are not productive. This journalistic host of Teleislas Sports dialogue with this coach who told us with more details.
We have been organizing these guys with these friendly matches against El Dorado. The idea is that the boys are motivated and believe in themselves and know that soccer is still alive here in San Andres Islands, that we can work for improvement and maintain the disposition to be organized, so in case that any type of exchanges that would occur during this year 2021, we are ready. The idea is to continue working with young people, putting in their heads that with the sport they can keep away from many things. For example, that they are not productive for social life. It will be a great help if the government supports us. In that way, we can continue recruiting young people from different neighborhoods like The Hill, St. Louis, Cocal, Cliff, that all those young people can be motivated and believe in themselves and make them high performance athletes.
That the young people are motivated and believe in themselves is one of the ideas of Coach Jair Navarro. And this is all in sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast.